Hi, this is Zibby Owens, and you're listening to Totally Booked with Zibby, formerly Moms Don't Have Time to Read Books. In my daily show, I interview today's latest best-selling, buzziest, or underrated authors and story creators whose work I think is worth your time. As a bookstore owner, publisher, author, and obviously podcaster, I get a comprehensive look at everything that's coming out and spend my time curating the best books so you don't have to. Stay in the know, get insider insights, and connect with guests like I do every single day. For more information, go to zibbymedia.com and follow me on Instagram at Zibby Owens. Chasten Buttigieg is the author of Papa's Coming Home. Chasten grew up in northern Michigan. He is a teacher, advocate, and husband of former presidential candidate Pete Buttigieg. Chasten currently lives with Pete, their two children, Gus and Penelope, and their rescue dog, Buddy, in Traverse City, Michigan. His memoir, I Have Something to Tell You, was a New York Times bestseller in both the adult and young adult editions, and I had him on the podcast to discuss the young adult edition. You can visit Chasten at chastenwrites.com. Welcome, Chasten. Thank you so much for coming back on Totally Booked with Zibby, now to talk about Papa's Coming Home. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. I am going to feel inferior literally every time I get to the airport from now on, because this is what I could be getting. And instead, maybe a car service or something, but probably not.
I mean, I think the hug at the end of the day is the best thing.
But, I know. That's true.
Yeah.
But I'll take the cake. The cake would be nice. I wouldn't turn it down.
Yeah.
Okay. Give a little rundown of what the book is about.
Well, I actually wrote the book on an airplane. I was thinking for a long time about the kind of story I wanted to tell. I really just set out to find books that looked like our family. I had been searching for a book that I could read to my kids. You know, this was about 2 years ago. It's wild to think my kids are about to turn 4. And when they were about 2, I was looking for a book like this. And I just wanted it to be a fun day in the life story of a family that looked like ours. And while I was on the airplane, I thought about how excited I was to get home to them and how excited the characters in this book might be to welcome their dad home. And that's where it came from. And my kids sort of helped me write it along the way as I went through draft after draft of the book. And here's where we wound up.
Wow. So what you don't find out in the book, I have some questions about. Where was the dad? How long was he gone? I need to know. I want the itinerary.
I think there's actually, well, let me see.
Is there a clue somewhere that I missed?
I think on the refrigerator, you know what's really funny is this actually isn't the book. That's funny.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
This is just a fake cover on a different book.
Oh, I see. So he's been gone 13 days.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that.
I think they have Michigan spelled.
Yes, Michigan. Yes.
Yeah.
Michigan. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Obviously, any chance I can get to brag about Michigan or slip Michigan into the narrative, I'm going to.
See, this is my grown-up brain reading and skipping some illustrations and focusing on words. Shame on me for losing my childhood.
The illustrator has so many good little Easter eggs hidden in the book. I loved working with Dan on hiding little things throughout the book, like the number of their house. That's my birthday.
Oh, I'm like, what is hidden that I'm missing? Now I'm going through every page.
And the cute little baby pictures on the wall. It's all these tiny details, you know, what makes the house a home, and all the little.
Your birthday's 23?
Yeah, June 23rd.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, now I'm looking closely. The illustrator's amazing, by the way.
He's great. He did such a beautiful job with the book. And when we first got the art back, Penelope, right away, my daughter, she was like, "Hey, that looks like me. Hey, that's Gus." Hey, yeah, it was really neat.
I feel like you could maybe sell all these flowers. You know, you have this gorgeous bouquet here, which you could almost work with a florist for like a Father's Day gift.
Oh, man.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Well, actually, here in Traverse City, I partnered with a local coffee company, and they're selling Rosie and JoJo's Java.
Ooh, that's good too.
We're doing a Father's Day blend, and it benefits the local library and the Up North Pride organization here in Michigan.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah. Okay, so forget my flower idea, but I would
love the flowers. Yes,
flower would be cool too.
The fictional aspect of the book. I do not have a beautiful flower garden at my house. I have the time. I would kill it, all of it, you know.
But the Stinky Cheese in the robe, check.
Love my robe, and it's my husband who's a fan of Stinky Cheese. And when I was working with Gus and Penelope, brainstorming like ideas that the Papa might have missed, Stinky Cheese came up.
Wow. When we last talked, you were thinking about writing this book. You were like, it's some sort of story about the two dads, but it's not about the fact that there are two dads. It's just that the
Yeah.
dads are in it. Da, 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 and now here it is. Were there other plots that you investigated, or was this the main thing?
I really liked the idea of a travel story. And it kind of, this is a pretty watered down version of some of the different versions that I liked. But I think maybe there's room for a sequel then, the adventures that Rosie and Jojo get up to. But you're right. It was really important to me at the end of the day that we just had a story that looked like our family, that I don't always want to be reading books to my kids that discusses difference. I think there's room for those books, and we should have those books to have really important conversations. But I don't want to read a story to my kid at the end of the night that might prompt larger discussions when we're just trying to get them to go to bed, right? Like everyone's different. It's okay to be different. You're different. Your family's different. I just wanted an everyday life story. And so I'm really happy where we landed.
Yeah, it's really lovely. Really lovely.
Thank you.
Tell me some stories about trips that you've taken and who has picked you up. Like, has there been a moment where someone really exciting picked you up, or you wanted someone to pick you up and they didn't show up? Do you have anything like that?
I just came home from a big trip a couple days ago, but I got home at midnight. And I think one of the best parts about coming home is that big hug, the way we see it in the airport at the end of the book, but just the fact that someone missed you so much.
Mm-hmm.
And so my kids actually woke me up the next morning. They get up at like 5:45 right now. It's pretty tough. But the way they run into the bedroom and they jump up on the bed and they're so happy to see you. And I think about when we would bring the kids to the airport to see Pete, my husband, when he would come home from a trip, and how I would get them out of their car seats so that they could run up to him on the sidewalk. And that is just, as a parent, it is the best feeling in the world to have those little arms wrapped around you, and for them to tell you that you were missed.
That is nice. You can't ever, a hug can never be underrated. Overrated,
Yeah.
underrated. Yeah.
Yeah.
The best.
We call them tight squeezes. And, sometimes I'll say tighter, tighter, and they just keep squeezing their arms tighter and tighter, and you just never want to let, them go. And I think I'm very conscious of it because so many people always tell you it goes too fast. It goes so fast. Parenting goes so fast. And I always think about how I'm going to want those types of hugs one day. I was an 8th grade teacher, so I'm dreading the teenage years when they might not want to hug you as tightly. So,
My teenagers still hug me very tightly, and my twins are going to be 18 next month. Now my son is like could crush me. He's so strong, But their hugs are the best, and it's it's different, but it doesn't go away.
good. I hope so.
And I mean, I don't know, the pressure to like enjoy it all when a lot of it is really, really hard. I mean, it's okay. Like it's not all going to be great. But yes, one day it will be over. But that doesn't necessarily mean it went fast. It just means it went.
Right? I'm always conscious of this idea someone gave when you're in one of the really tough moments, one of the really like tricky moments where sometimes they don't go to bed till like 10 p.m. Like you put them down at 7 and they just protest for hours, and you want to pull your hair out.
Mm-hmm.
Like what do I do to get you to go to bed?
Mm-hmm.
And someone told me once, like one day you're going to wish that you were able to tuck them into bed like one more time. Or when my daughter especially, she'll cry like, I need one more hug. Or she'll say like, you didn't give me a hug goodnight. It's like hour 3. Like I've given you so many hugs goodnight. Like one day you'll wish that they called you in to give them one more hug or one more kiss goodnight or one more story. But yeah, in the moment, you're like, okay, I get it. One day I might want this, but I'm also so tired and I still have to do the dishes.
Yeah. If you want me to live to that day, you have to let me go to sleep right now.
Yes, you need to go to bed right now.
One More Hug is a children's book. I've had the author on. I'm trying to remember who it was. I think it might have been Megan Alexander. But that's the whole premise of the book. It's like she doesn't want to. She's tired and da-da-da. But
is it helpful? Do I need to get it?
You should get it. You should definitely get it. One More Hug. I'll send you the link when we get off. I'm sure I'll be able to find it. But I do think that hanging on to this sense of joy that you have in the book, like your whole book is so joyful. The colors and all the festivities and anything with sprinkles is just like fun, right? It's like that kind of joy is not necessarily correlated with airline travel these days. Like,
Yeah.
so
True.
if there's a way we could sort of meld them. Did you see, by the way, I saw this on Instagram last night, that there's a Dunkin', like takeover is the wrong word, but when you like it like wrapped the plane, a JetBlue plane, in Dunkin' to like make it fun, and like they give like free coffee on this one airplane in the whole line.
I mean, I have my questions about coffee on airplanes anyway.
Mm,
My kids they're really good travelers, knock on wood. They really love airplanes. They love traveling. And I'm wondering how long it's going to last for the tablet rule to
mm,
play, because we gave them tablets this year and we told them they only work on airplanes. And so far, working. Like they go back in the closet, and they got them out of the closet like a couple weeks ago. And my daughter was like, "Oh, we can't play with those, Gus. Those are just for the airplane." Like, that's right. They only work on
I am
airplanes.
so impressed. That is good. That is a
Yeah.
good trick. They're going to be very upset one day, but it's
They're
a good trick.
airplane tablets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Airplane tablets. Oh my gosh, brilliant. Totally brilliant. Yeah. How I raised the older ones without iPads, I don't even know. But anyway, somehow you get through.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I wanted, they needed to be quiet for 5 hours. So just, it's crazy to watch how their brains work on those things, which is terrifying for me.
Mhm.
But, for 5 hours, it worked.
So, when we last spoke, you were just coming out with your young adult adaptation of your memoir, and you felt very strongly that your younger self would have really appreciated a book like that, and you wanted to put it in the world to help others who might be feeling other or going through some of the things you went through. How did it go?
For the YA book,
Hmm.
I had incredible conversations around the country. We went to so many cities, and particularly in the sort of red and purple states, talking with these parents who would show up to the book event just because they didn't really know what to do, and they might have had a kid that came out of the closet. And I remember specifically some of the conversations I had in Texas and Florida, where these parents were contending with their politics and their religion, but they loved their kids so much, and they saw themselves sort of in the story of my parents, who had to put, prior beliefs and prejudice aside to keep their kid alive. They loved me so much that they were willing to transcend what they had been taught or believed just to support their kid. And it went really well. It was really inspiring. At the end of the day, I always come back to this idea that our country's full of really good people. There's such good people in this country, and you just don't read about them or hear about them every day, especially if you're online a lot, in certain media platforms. It seems like it's really dark and scary out there, which is not to say that some of what's happening right now isn't. But when you get out on the road and you're sitting in these libraries with, parents and community leaders and teachers, you're just reminded of how good people are, that they want to do well by others, and they want to support the people that they love. And I believe that most people want to find a way to cross the bridge to acceptance. I think that people are trying to find a way to be bigger hearted and more loving. And I hope that this children's book is also a way to help every family have that conversation, that this too is an American family. And I think the YA book specifically was really helpful for teenagers, but also really helpful for parents. In the YA book, I was able to sort of expand on what I went through during childhood, all the way through college. Before I met my husband and before the crazy political roller coaster happened. And a lot of that had to do with my upbringing and the conversations that we didn't have.
Mhm.
I hope that it's helpful for parents to think about how you might talk to your kid and tell them how they are loved unconditionally.
Mm.
If we have that conversation early, then when we're growing up, we don't have to question whether we'll lose our parents' love because of who we are. And I think the children's book is just another example of what happens when you love your family unconditionally.
Well, that's beautiful. Where are all these good people? How do I find them? How do I reach them on Instagram? Where are they hiding?
I mean, you travel so much too. You must see this when you're just talking to someone. Even here in northern Michigan, we're what I like to call like the blueberry and the raspberry jello. Like little liberal city surrounded by much more conservative surroundings, and I still think people like adhere by the rule in public, in person, face to face, that if you don't have anything nice to say, You don't say it at all. And then I'm also surprised at some of the conversations I have with people at the coffee shop or at the grocery store, especially at the grocery store. I have learned that it's going to take me probably an extra hour to grocery shop. I talk to so many people, but I think people, when you're face to face, have to contend with your humanity. That they're talking to another human being. They're not just hiding behind a keyboard. So that's why I like to spend more time offline and not, let the online discourse replace my idea of what reality is.
That is tough. That's a tough one.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, step one, I delete it from my phone because I could always sense, my finger going back to the icon. I just wanted to see what people are talking about, but that's not people talking. That's just some people talking. That's not everybody.
Wait, what did you delete?
All the social media platforms.
All of them?
Yeah, just get rid of them. Sometimes I have Instagram on there because I find like I can follow my friends' lives more closely and I like the pictures, but Twitter especially, I don't need it. I don't need it. And as a parent, the scary thing is the power those devices have over your attention. And the one thing I want to be focused on when they're home from school is them. And I know when you're really tired, it's just like, I'm just going to sit down and drink my coffee and scroll through Twitter. Like the best things in the world are right over there, waiting for the train set or waiting to read another book. And I know sometimes it's exhausting. I'm not saying you have to play with your kids all the time. Everyone deserves a break. But what you do with that break, I think, is so important. Like what's restorative? Sitting down and reading some of the darkest commentary in the country, or sitting down and maybe staring out the window, or just drinking the coffee in silence versus
reading a novel, perhaps.
Yeah. It's tough to read these days with them around, but
that's true. That's true.
Yeah. I think it's important to take those breaks.
No, you're right. You're right. I'm not really on Twitter either. I went on for the first time in like a month. And I was like, I got to get in and get out. It's like I poked my head in a store and I was like, not for me. I'm out. I'm back on the sidewalk.
I think it's got a place. I mean, sometimes you post work stuff there, updates, but I just don't feel like I'm in conversation with anybody there. And I think when we're talking at one another and we're not talking with one another, what's the point? When have you ever seen someone on Twitter say, oh my gosh, you're so right. I see it from your perspective now.
Yeah.
Just not real.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
Okay. So more children's books. What is the secret sequel and what else might be coming next from you?
I don't know. I'd love to hear what people think. I love these characters. I don't know where they go next. Maybe they get on the airplane next. Maybe they're going to visit someone. I just love how dedicated the parents are in the book. I love how excited they are to sort of follow the hijinks of the twins.
Yep.
And how it sort of models like a yes and parenting style that might not always be real in real life. But I love that the parents love their kids and love their creativity.
Maybe it's JoJo's going away.
Oh, where do you think he's going?
He's going on an airplane.
Maybe he's going to, I don't know if it's like Rosie and JoJo are going to visit their grandparents for Christmas.
Or maybe it's weird just having one of them go somewhere. That's true. They wouldn't do that. I was trying to do the G sound, the like J going. I don't know. Never mind. Forget it. Alliteration. But it didn't even work because it's a J and a G. We'll have to workshop it a little more.
Yeah. Well, I do love the idea that they're going on another adventure. They're really excited to go on that adventure because I think that's a universal experience as well. When you're not only getting ready to welcome someone home, but you're getting ready to go on the adventure yourselves.
Yep.
And I can see that being really fun.
Yeah. Little adventure kits.
Yeah.
Right?
Survival snack packs.
Survival kits. Well, keep the blue. I love the color. I love the color. Anyway, this is a perfect Father's Day gift, obviously, but also just ongoing because it's a good, if you feel guilty going on a business trip book as well, you just, store this away. Bring it as a gift. Yeah. Lots of uses.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm excited for Father's Day. And I think this is just a great example of how kids miss their dads when they're gone.
Yeah.
And I'm so tickled that, now I'm a dad and here I am getting to write about being a dad. It's pretty exciting.
That's awesome. Yeah. I hope you keep that enthusiasm you know?
Thanks. It's easy to, well, I'm doing this interview when I'm home alone with coffee. So
I know.
to be enthusiastic right now.
I know.
Yes.
Cut to Chasten, like crying in the bathroom, the kids banging on the door.
Scraping mac and cheese off the ceiling. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, congratulations. And I'll be cheering for you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Okay. Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to Totally Booked with Zibby, formerly Moms Don't Have Time to Read Books. If you loved the show, tell a friend, leave a review, follow me on Instagram @ZibbyOwens, and spread the word. Thanks so much. Oh, and buy the books.